Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Today we're going to take a look at our friend Beast Boy, also known as Changeling. So let's get started. I first saw the character within the pages of the new Teen Titans all the way back in 1982, around that time. And here I would meet for the first time our friend Beast Boy. It is within that first issue that Changeling decided to change his name from Beast Boy to Changeling. So early on, I never really knew him as Beast Boy. I knew him as the Changeling. Although later on, we did get a really nice origin story for our friend Beast Boy. We had an issue of the New Teen Titans that showed us not only the somewhat origin of the Doom Patrol, but also somewhat the origin of our friend Beast Boy. And basically, the one page that you're seeing, it is the one page that gave me all the backstory I needed or that I had at the time about our friend Beast Boy. If you're a younger fan and you came to know Beast Boy through the New 52, or you came to know Beast Boy through the Teen Titans TV series, basically what you're seeing right now is what an older fan like me knew about Beast Boy for quite a few decades. So for a long time, basically, Beast Boy got some sort of disease. His father or his parents, in order to heal him, they used some sort of gizmo that turned him green. And it turns out, not only did it turn him green, he could also transform into various forms of animals. Sadly, when his parents died, it was pretty much adopted by the Doom Patrol, more specifically by Rita Farr and Steve Dayton. But sadly, the Doom Patrol being the Doom Patrol, things took a turn to the worst, and sadly again, Beast Boy lost his mom. So for a long time, from like 1980 all the way up to 2011, that was the origin story for our friend Beast Boy. Which is why you'll often see disagreement between older fans and newer fans. For older fans, this was the origin of Beast Boy for a long time. For newer fans may have discovered Beast Boy thanks to the New 52, so he would have a new origin then. Or they would have discovered Beast Boy within the Teen Titans animated series. Or even worse, they would have discovered Beast Boy within the Teen Titans Go animated series. So depending on which version of Beast Boy you're familiar with, you may disagree on what the actual origin of the character is. I remember not that long ago in the forums, I was discussing with someone and we were arguing about the origin of Raven. And basically, for me, the origin of Raven was the one I knew from the 1980s, but that person knew Raven from the Teen Titans animated TV show. So obviously, there were quite a few discrepancies between the origin that I knew and the origin that she knew. And then we obviously did not agree on who Raven was because we were basically talking about two distinct different versions of the characters and we didn't realize it. So the version you're seeing right now is pretty much the version of Beast Boy that I was familiar with at the time that I first saw introduced in the pages of the Teen Titans. That is where I first saw the character. And this is about as close to recreating the look of that character as I was able to get. I'm sure some of you will wonder which color I used. So for the skin color, I pretty much went with this green. And for the hair color, I went with that green. So basically a lighter green for the skin, a darker green for the hair. I struggled a bit to make this video because basically I didn't have everything I really needed to be able to create a nice looking Beast Boy. Basically I would have needed two different body types to be able to do Beast Boy properly, but even worse, I would have needed to use probably nature powers in order to be able to transform. There's a few beast forms that you can have if you're a nature character. You can transform into a wolf, into a gorilla, into a few different beasts. And also there's a few trinkets that would have been useful to recreate the character. There's a trinket where you can turn into a rhino. There's a trinket where you can turn into a lion. So sadly, either I didn't have everything I needed to recreate the character, or I have it, but it's spread through multiple characters, so I couldn't really use it. So for the hairstyle, I went with Rockford. That's what the character was using for a long time. The hands, the aeronaut hands works well enough. For the belt, pretty much any white belt would do. Here I used the Stalwart Defender, but you could use any belt you want. For the boots, I went with the nuclear boots. Again, there's other boots that could do, but I used those. For the chest, I went with the T-slimline. It's about as close as I was able to reproduce the look of the character at the time. And the pants, I went with the New Genesis pants. I wish the short shorts could be wider. There's a slight gray in the shorts, but sadly that's how the pants are. And this is pretty much the look that he had early on when he was in the Doom Patrol. If you remember, if you saw the one-page flashback that I showed you, he had a look somewhat kind of like that. Again, it's not spot on, and I would have needed to use a different body size. But again, changing body size with one character, not really an option right now. I would have needed some body size changing token, and I'm not going to use those to make those videos. So basically, if you use a smaller body size, and if you use the styles that I'm using here, you could pretty much recreate something that's somewhat close to the look that Beast Boy had, at least at some point in his Doom Patrol days. Or in his earlier days, I could say. So for the headpiece, I went with the partial slimline. It works well enough. There's a whole bunch of other slimline I could have used, but basically I'm going to slap the Batwoman face, the Batwoman mask on top of that. So any headpiece that you're comfortable with could do the trick with that face piece. The gloves are the Aeronaut gloves. Again, there's again other gloves I could have used, but I went with those. The belt, I went with a square buckle. Again, there's many choices you could have made. This is the one I made. And the boots, I stuck with the nuclear boots. I already have those, but again, there's a handful of boots that could have done the trick. And for the pants, for the chest piece, the streak slimline does the trick well enough. It's not quite exactly it, but it's as close as I was able to get within the limitation of DC Universe Online, obviously. And for the pants, the reverse slimlines did the trick well enough. I tried to recreate the look of the animated TV series. I haven't watched that series all that much. I watched a handful of episodes of the first season, and I gave up on that series because they were aiming it at a really young audience, and already I was starting to be an old man when this series was first broadcasted. So I watched a handful of episodes, decided that it wasn't really for me, and I never went back. From what I hear, the seasons after that were a little darker and a little more adult themed, if it makes sense. So I should probably go back at some point and rewatch the whole series. Ironically enough, I watched a whole lot more Teen Titans Go than I watched the original Teen Titans animated series. And the reason for that is quite simple. As some of you may know, I work in animation. And at some point I had to watch a whole bunch of Teen Titans Go animated episode as research for a series I was working on. So for the hairstyle, I went with the Jimmy hairstyle in this case. It's a little closer to what the animated series was using. The gloves, I stuck with the Aeronaut gloves. And again, also, I would need a different body type, but this is the body type my character has. For the belt, I went with the Beyond High Tech. For the boots, the schoolyard boots work well enough to try to recreate the sort of boots that the Beast Boy had in the animated series. Again, it's not exactly it, but this is as close as I was able to get. The chest, I stuck with the streak slimline. It reproduced the look of the character well enough. Again, it's not exactly it, but within the limitation, it's as close as I was able to get. The pants, I went with the New Genesis pants. When you use a darker color, it doesn't matter as much that the shorts have a slight grayish tint to it. And here, this is about as close as I was able to get to the Young Justice version of the character. Again, in Young Justice, they had a version of Beast Boy that kind of looked like that. With the hairstyle, I went with a different hairstyle because I needed some mutton chops. They gave him some sort of mutton chops to the character. And this is a style that's fairly easy to reproduce. It's basically only two pieces of style, a chest piece and a pant. The hardest part is probably to get the right colors for the skin and the hair. And I've already showed you earlier what I used for the color for the skin and the color for the hair. For the hairstyle, I went with the stylish hairstyle. It gives me sort of the same hairstyle that the Jimmy style has, but with the mutton chops that they actually gave him in the Young Justice animated series. For the chest piece, I went with the Archer chest piece. It doesn't look exactly like what he's using in the animated series, but again, this was as close as I was able to get. The same with the shorts. I went with the Egyptian shorts. Again, it's not exactly what he's using, but within the context of DC Universe Online, it's as close as I was able to get. So that's pretty much it for our friend Beast Boy. So again, in order to recreate a really good version of Beast Boy, I would have needed the nature powers, and I would have needed a whole bunch of trinket to allow the character to be able to change shape and transform himself into various animals. Sadly, with this character, that's pretty much the best I could do at this point. Maybe at some point in time, I'll make a follow-up video if I get better styles or better stuff to be able to recreate a character. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.